The entire NBA should be terrified right now if they're paying any attention to what's going on overseas. After a tumultuous and eventful offseason for the Milwaukee Bucks, they are headed into training camp with many signs pointing to a good season. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Nathan Burton, here with Bucks Digest, your number one source on YouTube for all things Bucks. We're back after a little bit of a summer hiatus. We appreciate you guys sticking with us and sticking with the channel. We're going to be bringing you all the Bucks news all season long. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the reasons why the NBA needs to fear the deer heading into the 2025-2026 season, especially the Eastern Conference. One reason is Giannis's early dominance in EuroBasket. Giannis looks the best he's looked in a long time in EuroBasket. He is continuing his dominance overseas. I'm going to talk about some other key pieces for this team that likely will step up and will need to step up for them to succeed. It's going to be an interesting season. The Bucks are entering the season as underdogs, you might say, for the first time in a while. Expectations are a bit lower than in the last couple seasons, but I'm going to give you guys some reasons why I think they may blow those low expectations out of the water. Now, before we get any further, I just want to mention to everybody, please hit that subscribe button. You guys were running that up for us for a while. We hope you continue to do so. We're going to be bringing you Bucks content all season long. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo's dominance in EuroBasket. Giannis dominated the pre-tournament or preseason games heading into this, and he continued that momentum into the first two official games that he's playing in EuroBasket so far. The first game was against Italy, where he put up 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists on extremely good efficiency. The next game, the efficiency continued against Georgia. He put up 27 points on 9 of 11 field goals in limited minutes. He's putting up some gaudy numbers here in EuroBasket despite playing pretty limited minutes. This is kind of the stat sheet right here. He's put up 29 points in just 27.2 minutes, added 7.5 rebounds and a couple assists. You can see the key number here is he's shooting 74.2% from the field. That is blistering. That is insane. We love to see Giannis performing at this high level. Now, the really important thing to note here is a lot of experts, a lot of people around the team are saying this is Giannis just kind of playing for fun, not going 100%. I mean, I'm sure there's been some conversations with Giannis and the Bucks brass about how important he is to the Bucks organization this upcoming season, and to make sure, he's not putting himself in any precarious positions. But for Giannis to only be playing at maybe 75-80% and still dominating with these kind of numbers, that can only bode well for the Milwaukee Bucks if this is not full force Giannis and he's still making these international players look like ragdolls and rookies compared to his dominance. It bodes well. It means he's healthy. It means he's feeling good, and hopefully is all good signs for us heading into next season. So let's talk about next season. Let's talk about the depth chart, because there's been a lot of rumors around the team, and a lot of questions. So you can see here the projected starters are Kevin Porter Jr., Taurean Prince, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Myles Turner. On the bench, Rollins, Trent Jr., Coffey, Portis, AJ Green, Andre Jackson Jr., and Jericho Sims. There's some other signings that aren't showing up on the sheet I have here, which are going to be deeper rotation guys like Cole Anthony and Gary Harris. But a couple things to note about kind of this situation is these guys are young. This is a super young team. Like Taurean Prince is 31, and outside of that, there's a couple 30-year-olds on the team. Like Giannis is 30, Bobby Portis is 30, Gary Harris, who I mentioned earlier, not showing up here, but he's also 30 years old. But there's nobody over 31, and then everybody else is young. They're 23, 24, 25. So this team should be faster, and it should be better defensively. Especially, there's not a lot of guys on here that can be directly exploited defensively in the way that 35-year-old Damian Lillard was. I feel like this team will show up and immediately be better defensively. But there is some key players that have to step up for the Bucks to have a successful season. We know as long as Giannis is healthy, Giannis is going to do Giannis things and everything is going to be fine at the power forward spot. But where else do we need to see guys step up? Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be the most interesting one. If you read or talk to any experts right now around the NBA, the thing they point to first with the Milwaukee Bucks is the lack of depth at point guard. They're one of the only contending teams that don't have a bona fide starter with experience at the point guard position. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be interesting because we know he has the talent, especially offensively, and then he showed flashes of being a pretty solid defender last year as well, despite not having maybe the best size and whatnot, but he plays passing lanes well and has active hands. So, we know he can play both sides of the ball, but really it's decision making with him. It's, of course, we hope he avoids all the off-season, all the off-court things that he's went through in the past and continues to kind of mature. But on the court, he is going to have the biggest opportunity out of everyone on the team to prove that he is an NBA caliber starting point guard. He doesn't have much behind him when it comes to pressure for minutes. I mean, of course, we do have young Ryan Rollins, who's a great defender, but still pretty raw offensively. We got Cole Anthony. I don't think Cole has proven he can be a starter, especially at point guard. He's more of a two, honestly. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to have all the run in the world to show us whether or not he's capable, and it'll be interesting to see how he grows into the role and if his decision-making gets better, because that's been kind of the knock on him, at least on the court. Another guy that we all know is going to have to play better is Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is getting paid way too much money. His contract is basically untradeable, or he probably wouldn't still be with the Bucks, but this guy is a capable basketball player. Again, it feels like the mental side might be the thing holding him back, but he did shoot a better true shooting percentage with the Bucks last year than he did with the Wizards. So it'd be interesting to see what he brings and what he's worked on in the offseason. To my mind, Kyle Kuzma needs to start being more aggressive, getting downhill and trying to finish at the rim. Kuzma is a good finisher at the rim when he's being aggressive, and I think that's what they need from him. We have plenty of shooting on this team. We have all the 3-point shooting in the world with AJ Green and Gary Trent Jr. and all the other guys on the bench. We don't need Kyle Kuzma standing at the 3-point line trying to jack threes. He needs to be aggressive, especially when Giannis Antetokounmpo is off the floor. If he can improve his defense and continue to be aggressive, he'll never come close to maybe making Bucks fans comfortable with what we're paying him, but a better effort on both sides of the ball is going to be needed for us to even feel a little bit good about it, and we hope to see that from Kyle Kuzma going into next season. The other big question mark or big interesting thing going into the season is how does Myles Turner fit in? You would think with Myles Turner's combination of elite rim protection and 3-point shooting that it would be almost perfect in a lineup with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's basically a 10-year younger Brook Lopez, right? His rim protection is very similar. He actually had a little bit better of a protection rate than Brook Lopez last year, and his 3-point shooting with all the gravity that Giannis brings in, he should fit perfectly. We know this guy is super skilled and has grown into a good player in this league. Of course, my big knock on him, and a lot of people's big knock on him, is he needs to rebound better. For a guy who's 7 foot plus, his rebounding numbers are paltry at best. He really needs to focus on rebounding. We're going to need that from him. We don't have a ton of rebounding outside of Giannis on this team. So it'll be interesting to see if Myles can step up that part of his game and where else he can contribute on this roster. The Bucks going into this season are projected at 42.5 wins. That's the Vegas odds. They have 48 wins last year and finished in 5th. The 42 wins would put them at about 7th if the standings look like they did last year. But of course, we have a very weak Eastern Conference heading into this year. I mean, you bring up the Eastern Conference right here. Who are you worried about? It's really, obviously the Cavs and the Knicks are good. The Magic should improve. Nobody knows what we're going to get out of the Hawks or the Sixers. But there's a lot of weak teams here in the East that you're not really worried about. The Bucks should have every opportunity to make a good playoff run against the Eastern Conference, so we will have to wait and see. Now, there's one last piece of news. Of course, I'd be remiss without mentioning that Giannis Antetokounmpo is back with the Bucks on a 2-year deal. He isn't likely to see a lot of playing time, but we know how important he is in the locker room and what he means to Giannis. With Giannis having his brother on the team, that can only cement hopefully Giannis's position and feelings around staying with the franchise. But of course, guys, I want to know what you guys think. Which players on the Milwaukee Bucks do you think will need to step up in order for them to succeed next year? Are you as excited as I am about the dominance from Giannis in EuroBasket? I think Giannis has the fire to want to win, and to see him performing at that high level overseas already when we're 5-6 weeks out from training camp is, of course, very, very enticing. But leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about the roster. Is there somebody who you think is a dark horse that may pick up some minutes here on this team? Do you have a different idea for a starting lineup that doesn't reflect kind of the ones that are being reported? I want to know what you guys think. I'm excited for the next season. Go Bucks, go. We'll be back soon on Bucks Digest.